Friends, welcome to my workplace at Ranaghat, West Bengal, India. This is a cataract with very hard nucleus. Nuclear sclerosis is grade 5 or even harder, and the patient is under topical anesthesia. Let us observe this surgery. This is the main incision with a 2.8 mm steel keratome, and this is the length of the 2.8 mm tunnel. And I make only one side port on the left side of the main incision about 3 clock hours away. And now I was thinking of making another incision, but I didn't make it. Now I inject an air bubble, and beneath this air bubble, Trypan blue 0.06% dye is applied over the anterior capsule all around so that uniform staining of the anterior capsule occurs. This is a bit of adrenaline. Though the pupil dilated well, I applied adrenaline to maintain the dilatation. The dye is gently washed out. And now 2% hydroxypropyl methyl cellulose is injected to fill up the anterior chamber. And now I have to do a large rhexis. I take the Utrata forceps, make a puncture at the center, go peripherally, hold the capsule and start doing the rhexis. This is going to be a large rhexis, about 5.75 to 6 mm in size. Because the cataract is so hard, and to manage the nuclear fragments, I need a large rhexis. Now hydrodissection is to be done. Balanced salt solution and 27 gauge cannula is being used for hydrodissection. The nucleus is stabbed. Hydrodissection done at another place, and the nucleus is gently rotated. Now in this case my plan is to make a pit at the center of the nucleus and then do chop, submarine chop, means going through the substance and chop. I exposed the needle more so that I can deliver more ultrasonic energy. I am sculpting and making a pit. At this time the ultrasonic energy is 80%, vacuum is 100 and flow rate is 30, and I am making a nice pit, deep pit at the center. And this will help me in managing the nucleus, and I will be away from the corneal endothelium for when I am chopping this nucleus into pieces. And now I go into the substance of the nucleus, go for a little distance and chop. Rotate on 180 degree and try to separate the two heminuclei. But there is a band, we can see the band, so the pieces are not completely separated. Make another chop here and the piece is not separated. So there are leathery bands which are connecting the fragments. I've got a free fragment here. I remove that to get some space for the other fragments. And now I'm going to chop this fragment into 3 pieces. 1 and then another chop. But all the pieces are not free, they are joined to each other at the center. Inject visco again. Now my plan is to manually separate the pieces. I use my blunt chopper to go behind this heminucleus, use a Sinskey hook in my left hand, place the blunt chopper behind these fragments and manually, mechanically tear off the bands to make these fragments free. And now they are free. And now this much exposure I don't need, so I decrease the exposed part and start emulsifying these free fragments. Ultrasonic energy being used is 80%, flow rate is 40, and vacuum is 400 millimeter of mercury. The machine being used is Farrow's posterior, combined anterior and posterior segment machine. And now see what happens. The other fragment tumbles and I apply energy on the band joining these 2 pieces and they become free and I could emulsify them easily. During emulsification of the last piece, I go to FECO 3 mode where the vacuum is 250 and flow rate is 25 and ultrasonic energy is increased to about 75%. I was thinking whether I will remove this cortex epinucleus by the handpiece itself, but then I thought it is not wise to do that. Let me use a coaxial irrigation aspiration cannula for that. This is a nuclear piece, it came out, and here goes the coaxial IA. The vacuum is 350, flow rate is 35, and I am aspirating this thick cortical matter, and they are coming quite fast. With Simcoe, I cannot remove this thick material so fast. There are little bit of fibers here and there. I use the Simcoe to remove those fibers. So some fibers are there at 11 o'clock, they are removed. In this case, we have selected a sensor single piece intraocular lens from Johnson & Johnson. This is polishing of the posterior capsule by the irrigation probe. I am going to use a B cartridge, and for easy delivery of the lens in the capsular bag, I am going to enlarge this main wound by 0.2 millimeter. So the 2.8 millimeter incision has become about 3 millimeter. And here goes the intraocular lens. Now the lens is nicely placed in the bag. To be sure whether the other haptic is in the bag or not, I rotated the lens. Yes, it is. The whole lens is in the bag. There is no visco because it was hydroimplantation. This is moxifloxacin. Now the side port is closed by hydrating corneal stroma with BSS. And now this is the final lavage of the anterior chamber. We have to form the anterior chamber very nicely. The intraocular pressure should be on the higher side. We should not leave a soft eye. Anterior chamber is nicely formed. Now the integrity of the wounds should be checked with the bud. There should not be any leakage from the main wound as well as from the side port. Yes, there is no leakage. Few drops of moxie over the ocular surface and the case is concluded. Thank you very much for your attention. Hope this video will help you in developing your surgical skills. Be a great surgeon and serve your patients with love, respect, empathy, and great surgical competence.